My name is Miss Lizzie. I don't ever smoke the dizzy, but we can always share some ditties. It's just a cup in time. This song doesn't have to rhyme. Life's all of us, not every moment we can be feeling fine. I wanna share a moment, just a second if you will, maybe even a cup of thrill. We could share this performance. It's tea time, come sit with me.
Well, welcome guys, Miss Liz in the house, and it is a new month. We are the month of July in 2026. Can you believe that we already did half a year of 2026? Well, welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz, and we're going to get everybody over to some incredible platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Clapper, Lemonade, Blue Sky, all of those good, Substack, all those good platforms. Give those a like, follow, and subscribe, and get these tea times out there for my guests and for the listening audience that resonates with the stories. Also, jump over to the podcast apps: Podbean, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, Devers, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those good ones. And the ones I haven't mentioned, Miss Liz is on all of those as well. And you can find all of those tea times for the last 7 years on my platforms. Also, check out babyboomers.org. Miss Liz has been partnered with them for about 3 years now, maybe 4, and time flies, like we're already half a year in 2026. If you're looking to be featured on different podcasts, there are over 50 different podcasts that are featured on babyboomers.org, and they have a flavor for everybody out there that is looking for something different. So check them out, babyboomers.org. Let's get the disclaimer going, and then that beautiful intro, and then we're going to get Ishi in here, and we're going to spill her tea. And her tea is teaching educational empowerment, but she's got a long story to her tea, and I think it's going to be a little fun today. We're going to have some fun. So let's get the disclaimer and then an intro, and then we're going to get into her tea with some mischief and some truth sprinkles and some culture, dancing, glitters, fairies, all of that good stuff. We got a lot going on today with today's tea time. So, disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live shows. Miss Liz's Tea Time is a global platform dedicating to sharing real life stories, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations that inspire awareness, healing, and connection. I'm Miss Liz is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment during the live broadcast, please grant StreamYard permission to display your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that all the content brought forward during any Tea Time show is presented in good faith. However, discussions may include opinions, beliefs, and perspectives that do not necessarily represent the views of Miss Liz or the Tea Time platform. Information shared by guests is based on their own experiences and is perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All guests, viewers, and participants are responsible for using their own good judgment when considering any action or decision that may relate to these discussions. Some episodes may cover sensitive topics, including but not limited to trauma, abuse, grief, mental health, and other emotionally triggering subjects. Listeners and viewer discretion is strongly advised. Tea Time with Miss Liz is an open discussion forum designed to offer insight, inspire awareness, and create connection. It is not a substitute for professional, medical, legal, or therapeutical advice. If you require professional support, please seek assistance from qualified professionals or trusted resources in your area. If you have any questions regarding this disclaimer or the content of the discussion, you are welcome to contact me, aka Miss Liz, directly on my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com or visit my link tree at Miss Liz's Tea Time. By choosing to participate in, comment on, or view these live shows, you acknowledge and accept this disclaimer. Your participation is entirely voluntary. I, Miss Liz, welcomes you to join the conversation with an open heart, and if at any time you feel this platform is not right for you, I respect your wishes and decision and welcome you back whenever you are ready. Tea Time with Miss Liz is serving truth and awareness one cup at a time. Well, welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz, where laughter meets life lessons, and every conversation reminds us that sometimes the best medicine is a genuine smile. Today's guest proves that comedy isn't just about making people laugh, it's about helping people see life from a different perspective, finding joy in everyday moments, and bringing people together through humor. Please join me in welcoming Ishi Khan, British comedian, writer, and creator of the hilarious Ask Granny series, where quick wit, clever observations, and timeless humor has captured audience around the world. Known for her sharp comedian style and unforgettable granny character, Ishi has built a loyal following by remaining reminding us that wisdom often comes wrapped in laughter. Her comedy celebrates family, everyday life, culture experiences, and the wonderfully unpredictable moments that connect us all. Today's tea time isn't just about comedy, it's about resilience, it's about perspective, it's about discovering that laughter can often open the doors to healing and connection. Today's conversation will explore the inspiration behind Ask Granny, finding humor in everyday life, the healing power of laughter, creativity and storytelling through comedy, and why joy is sometimes something we all deserve. Ishi reminds us that sometimes one laugh can brighten an entire day. So grab your cup and join us for a joyful conversation filled with laughter, wisdom, connection, and real life tea, truth, experience, and awareness. And let me get Ishi in here and let's spill some tea together. Welcome, Ishi.
Hi. Oh, thank you for having me. Oh, this is going to be fun.
It is a pleasure to have you here on Tea Time.
Thank you. Oh, this looks lovely.
Well, Ishi, let's get to know you a little bit before we get into the comedy and your story and all that. And I love your tea. We're going to dig into that tea in just a little bit. But tell my audience and my listeners a little bit about who Ishi was as a little girl and who Ishi is now.
Okay. So as a little girl, some would say still little, but
I love it, young at heart.
So as a little girl, I was born and raised in Africa, in Zambia. And I guess I didn't know, was it boundaries, or I just knew that all humans were one, shall we say. So there wasn't like a hierarchical idea in my brain, shall we say. So I remember before I even started school, so in Zambia, as a girl, you start school at the age of 6, and I don't do date of birth or anything like that, so that was a bit confusing. And boys start at 7. But I was really keen to get to school, and my mum was teaching at a school, so I remember going to pick her up once, and I walked through a corridor which was for staff only, and the headmaster was walking through the same corridor. I didn't know, I didn't work at the school or anything, but what I did know was my mum had spoken about him at dinner one night and said how he had really big ears. So I recognised those ears as a 4-year young girl, and I just looked at him and I said, "Oh, hi, Certy," and he did not like that I did not address him with a mister. It was me, a little one, I would say, not knowing that, I didn't see this, and I still don't. I don't see differences so much in people as I see sentient beings. So sometimes, like, people will go, "Oh, but so-and-so is too young for this," or "So-and-so is too old for this." I go, "No, I just see a soul. I see a soul. That's all I see." There we go.
Well, tell us a little bit about who you are today, and then we'll get into this Ask Granny, because we have a question here about Ask Granny.
Okay, perfect. So who I am today is somebody... So listen, my purpose in life is really to bring about laughter. And I do that in various forms. So I do that through stand-up comedy, through making theatre, through writing, through laughter yoga for groups. So anything that can help make people laugh. I've even tickled a stingray at an event at one point. I was just like on the other end of the glass, and I was like, "Go on then, let's have a tickle." And in fact, today what I have been doing is rubbing noses with a unicorn and tickling the unicorn, and look what he's left me. Ta-da! So in any which way that I can make a sentient being laugh, I do.
I love it. I love the uniqueness of what you do, Ishi, because, it's the little things that bring the chuckle out, right? It's not overthinking it. Just be yourself. Just get into their little, your little sparkle and glitter, and just be you. And I love that. And like before we went live, I said, I love your outfit. Like, it's all sparkly and glittery. And those are the kind of guests that Miss Liz really loves. I like the ones that are outside of the box. We have question here about Ask NaanE, Ask Granny. I'm a nanny, so I Ask Granny. How did Ask Granny come about?
Okay, so Ask Granny came about. So it is. So my grandma basically features on this show. So I do call her NaanE. So in our culture, my heritage is Punjabi, which is from the north part of India and Pakistan, which was all of India before partition. But that's another long story for another day and another podcast, I'm sure. So in Punjabi culture and in most of Indian culture, you have a different name for a maternal grandmother and a different name for a paternal grandmother. So maternal grandmother is called a NaanE. And this is my granny, my NaanE. And basically, I've managed to keep my comedy life secret from her. And most recently, she's gone on to the internet and found out that I do it. And now she wants to be a guest on my show. So she basically comes and does this guest spot where people bring her woes and worries, and she's a bit of a worry collector, and then she gives them life hacks. So that's the whole show. But how it came about was really noticing a lot of divisiveness. There's a lot of stuff in the world that is almost designed to get us divisive and go, oh, what? You mean you don't like sunsets? You only like sunrises? Then I'm not going to be your friend anymore. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot more of that. And I thought, well, you know, Granny was like, this is just nonsense, because at the end of the day, we are one humanity. So let's all get one humanity in one space, and let me get their worries and their woes and then dispel them, and let's bring everybody together through this. So that's how it came about, really.
I really love it, you know, because there is so much division in the world. And, you know, we say diversity and inclusion. I find that there's less of it since we've started talking about diversity and inclusion.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I think there was a rise just after COVID and lockdown, when the awareness was being raised during COVID time, and now there seems to be a backlash against it. And actually, I feel like the backlash is quite sad, because what that is showing me is insecurity in somebody. When you feel like, oh my gosh, people are getting things because they're ticking a diversity or inclusivity box and I'm not. What that is insecurity and envy, and not actually recognizing what you really have in your life and what you've had a privilege to have and others haven't, and that's why they're being platformed. So yeah, so I do feel sorry for the backlashers, we say. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we have a question here from Bubbles. And did you always know comedy would become your path?
You know what? I really didn't. I didn't even know what stand-up comedy really was. I wandered into it accidentally. But now I look at what I was like as a little girl, and I was the one who was trying to create some kind of silliness in my family, or some kind of ridiculousness, something to laugh about in my family. So yeah, I wandered into the path accidentally, and now recognize that this is where I was really meant to be. And I've been down lots of different paths. I mean, if I was to ask your audience to guess, could they guess what I trained as professionally, what I actually read at university? Could they guess that?
Oh, good question. So for all my listeners out there that are tuning in tonight, and for who or watched the replay, maybe put that in the answer. I love when my guests throw those bubbles out there, because, and I love that we had a question from Bubbles, because I just said, let's put those bubbles out there, right? It keeps the engagement going. It keeps the conversation going, and it keeps the listeners interested as well, because then they're like, oh, I have to do my homework. So for all of you guys out there, let's see the answers. I want to see the answers in the comment section. Izzy, if you could just repeat that question for my listeners so that they know what they're looking for.
Absolutely. So, can you guess what I trained as professionally? What degree I read at university? Could you guess, please?
And I'm hoping we see some answers in the comment section here, guys. Like, go out and do your homework. It's time to do homework on Miss Liz's Tea Time. We have a question here about NaanE again. How did your character NaanE become such a beloved part of your work?
Oh, how did she? Well, look, there's a thing, right? When NaanE Swami takes to the stage, people absolutely love her. Actually, they love her more than they love me, which leaves me feeling a bit sad. So I tried to keep her in a box. Yeah, that went a bit wrong at a children's show because one time this little girl went, "Oh, just like my Nana, she's in a tin." I was like, "Not that sort of box." So I think it's because of that, but also I tell you what gave me the confidence to explore the character a bit more, and that was when I stepped into the world of clown. So I've been doing stand-up for many years, and I suppose what I'd been doing, like, I didn't really know what stand-up was, I didn't know what a gag was and things like that, but what I created as my first show, I still remember sharing a little excerpt of it to a theatre type audience. It was a scratch night, so they were theatre makers, and some of these theatre makers came up to me and they went, "That's not stand up," and me being me went, "Uh-oh, I've got it wrong, I still don't know what I'm doing." But what they were trying to say was that it's, because you just don't know. I mean, I was just somebody who's come from Africa, from Zambia, landed in Britain, and these are very intelligent people. And I'm like, "Oh gosh, I've got it wrong. I don't know what I'm doing." But what they were trying to say was, yeah, it's a bit more than just standing there and saying gags. But it took me many years to work that out. And then I was invited to go along and do a week's clowning after lockdown lifted. Now, during lockdown, towards the end of lockdown, it impacted my mental health a lot because I was isolated, I was on my own, I'm a people person and what have you. And this week in clown just made me feel at home. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is what I've been doing all my life." And they talk about, even the tutors who are amazing were like, "Oh, what an idiot." And that's like a compliment. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's my life. That's what I've been living." So you mean I've been living as an idiot, and this is amazing. I found my home.
I finally am home.
Where we're all idiots, which is beautiful. So that clowning then led to some support from Arts Council England, which helped me develop my clowning skills a bit more. So I trained with the company again, but for longer, in London. So I'm based in the Midlands area, which is like Middle Earth if you don't know UK very well. It is a bit like, and that really gave me the confidence to try out the granny character, and then she came to life, and now she seems to be taking over my shows, which is a bit ridiculous really. She needs to be in a box. So there we go.
Granny's got to take a nap.
I hope that's answered the question. It was a bit of a way round, but yeah, sometimes I don't remember. Yes, who knows? Yeah.
Well, we have a comment here from Russ, and it's congratulations on the sold out success of Ask Granny.
Thank you.
And then we have a question here from Rochelle. What inspired your
Improvisation
Your
during live.
improvisation during live performances.
Yeah, so improvisation. Okay, so here's the thing. Many shows are scripted, and I found scripts sometimes can keep. Scripts are wonderful, and I love playing with scripts. But sometimes I found when doing scripts, I was more in my head than I was present with the audience. And often, like just doing crowd work and being present with the audience and playing with them a bit more felt a bit more joyful. And that's where I suppose my strength came in with the improvisation. So you just never know. So 2 shows, like in Leicester Comedy Festival, February this year, I did 26 Ask Granny shows in 19 days, which had never been done before. And on Sundays, I was doing 4 shows a day. And 2 shows, people could come to 2 shows and they'd be different based on, you know, the audience, what they bring. So it becomes more of a relationship with the audience, and that makes it fresh and new for everybody. So you could come to more than one, really, and still have fun, I hope.
Well, I like that because Ishi, when the audience comes in, do you feel the energy of them, and then you're like, oh, I got something different. Oh, I can pick on that one, or I can pull out that one. Yeah, just by the way they sit, by the way they talk, their posture. Do you do that when you're doing the stand up?
Yeah, so it's less observational and more sensitivity for me. I'm quite sensitive when it comes to energies anyway. So I'm in the zone and I go with the flow. And you know, there've been times when I've called up somebody up to dance, and they've come up, and then later in the show they've said they were so shy. And I think it was a man who was like in his 60s or 70s and said he would never have danced, but just dancing changed his entire attitude in life. So he walked out a different person. Now, I did not, like, I was just in the moment and went, why don't you come up? You know, and that sort of thing happens a lot. So it is very much about being sensitive and reading energies. I know that sounds a bit woo-woo to a lot of people, but that's just who I am. If you haven't known all of this, you know, the sequins are actually reversible. If I can show you, look at that. Can you see that?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, they're reversible sequins. So yeah, so I am very sensitive to energy.
That's a little sensitive there.
So sometimes it can be quite stressful and crying. No.
Well, we have a question here from Real Charlotte, and it is, what advice would Granny give someone who's afraid to be themselves?
Oh, where are you? Because you should come and ask Granny that very question and see what she says. Oh my goodness, she might get, if you come to the adult show, she might get her cucumber out for you. You never know what she gets up to. She's got cucumber, she's got banana,
She's got long fruits and vegetables for you.
So it depends how she feels on the night. She might even flick you a mini cucumber because it's big enough. Who knows?
Well, we have a question that just came in, and it is, why do you believe laughter can bring people together?
Why do I believe laughter can bring people together? Because I've seen it happen. So through laughter yoga, to give you an example, one time when we did a laughter yoga session, we had people from all backgrounds, and there was over 100 people there in this little space. You had a 1-day-old baby right through to 99-year young Granny. And when we did the laughter yoga, everybody just united in that. There was no your laugh, this is how a laugh should sound, or this is how a laugh should be, or, you know, I believe that sunsets are better than sunrises. None of that. In that moment, everybody was laughing together. Everybody. So I've seen it and I've felt the energy, and that's why I believe what I do. It's also the quickest way to unite people, really. Yeah.
And if you haven't tried laughing yoga, you should. It's really an exercise and a meditation that really releases a lot of energy and a lot of hard struggles and trauma within the body as well. I believe in season 3, I had a laughing yoga, a lady on from MTV who did a little composting worms, and she's a comedian as well. I should connect you guys together, and then you guys could do maybe a show together. But laughing yoga has taught me that if you're dealing with a lot of hard grief, it helps with grief a lot because you can release it through the laughter, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There was one group that I worked with of elderly people. That's a few years ago. When I first started doing laughter yoga. This man hadn't come to the group for ages, and he decided on this day, you know, this is a group that met regularly every week, and I just popped in one week, and he came and joined in the group, and then at the end he came and took my hand between both his hands, and he said, "I'm so glad I came today." And he said it had shifted him, and I said, "What do you mean?" His son, his 21-year-old son, had been killed in a car accident. And after that, he had stopped coming to the group for at least a couple of years, I think. And then on this particular day, just out of the blue, he decided that he was going to come to the group. And he felt that change or that shift and that reconnection with the group. So I just felt very privileged to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Well, we have a question here from the Thrive Time show. How do you balance comedy and meaningful messages along belonging and identity?
Oh, I'm not sure I balance them at all.
There's no balance at all.
I don't think I do. I think I just go with it, whatever it is, you know. Sometimes it's just about, hey, you know, this is the message. And you hope that it's received well, and if it's not, you learn for the next time and go, okay, nice to meet you. Probably won't see you again for a while.
Well, Ishi, I want to get deep into your tea because your tea is an amazing tea. We're going to start off with the beginning of it, and it's mischief-making, playful laughter, spreading fairy dust. Tell me a little bit about that mischief and making playful laughter with the fairy dust. Where's the fairy dust?
Oh, yes, the fairy dust. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so mischief making is, okay, let me show you one of my mischief makers that comes out sometimes. And you see my boy, oh, here's my boing. You saw my boing's bottom, sorry. There we go, there's my boing. That hangs on my door, and sometimes in the most serious of times that comes out. So yeah, it's just being silly at every opportunity you can, you know. Sometimes people will ask you a very serious question and you very seriously answer it, but with a very ridiculous answer. And that is how mischief making happens, really.
I need to get me one of those boing boys.
Yes, I mean, like, you know, there's a story I tell in, like, Ask Granny for the family version, and this is genuinely true. Like, where I'm walking to catch the bus, if I see a magpie, do you get magpies there in the States?
Yes, we do. I'm in Canada.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Yes. So when you see a magpie here in the UK on its own, people do a thing called the salute to the magpie, which I learnt. But my thing is, now when I see a magpie, now whether it's on its own or there's some kind of rhyme, one for sorrow, two for joy, something like that, blah, blah, blah. So if there's one on its own, they salute it. And so, and they salute it and they say, hello, Mr. Magpie, how are your wife and children? So I genuinely do this. When I see a magpie, whether it's on its own or not, I'll say, hello, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife and children? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And anybody walking on the other side of the road will just continue walking. And sometimes, you know, the bus driver just stops and stares. But the worst bit was when I did that driving the bus, everybody on the bus was like, what are you doing? You can't turn the bus around. So there's those sort of things. Then there was one time I was dating this guy, and we bought like a clementine as we were walking along the Thames River in London. And it had like a barcode sticker on it where you scan the fruit to buy it. And he decided to just take it off, peel it off, and stick it on, I think on my cheek. So I peeled it off my cheek and I stuck it on the tip of my nose and walked through London with this barcode on the tip of my nose for the whole day to see if anybody would notice and if anybody might stop and say, excuse me, you've got something on your nose, and nobody did. Nobody did.
Wow. I thought maybe somebody come up with a scanner and scan you.
Scanning your barcode today. Nobody at all. So I do silly things like that.
We have a question that just came in is, why is humor such a powerful tool for discussing identity and belonging?
Identity and belonging. Why is it such a powerful tool? I guess humor for discussing any subject is powerful, really, because it's fun, isn't it? Who wants to sit and listen to a TED talk about where I was born and what I did and blah, 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 blah. Who wants to know my life story anyway, right? But if there's something funny about that, then people can relax a little bit. It's not so much about, then you're connecting with somebody and they're like, okay, you're a bigger idiot than I am, so that's okay. My life's better than yours. That sort of thing, right? And it goes back to how it makes us connect with one humanity, because we can see similarities more than we can see differences. So, you know, things like, I know, you know, migration is still a hot topic. And I did a show called I'm Migrant in 2016. And I thought, do you know what, that's going to date. And that's only going to be relevant for a year or two. But I'm just like shocked by how relevant it still is. And, you know, our inherent nature is to migrate. But there is so much silliness with migration that happens. Like, for instance, when I moved to the UK, and I remember like one of the girls at school had invited me over to her parents' house. And I went along, and in the bathroom, there was a little bottle with blue liquid in it, and it said eau de toilette. And I remember doing maybe a handful of French lessons at school in Zambia, and I went, oh, this is water for the toilet. So people actually wash themselves with this. And I ended up stinging the rest of the day, and I just had to sit there with my legs crossed, all stung. And that's, you know, that's the thing with migration, right? There's always things that you think, oh, I thought I knew this, but I don't really. I don't know. Yeah.
I love how you take life's chaos and turn it into humor. You know, that's what we need. We need, life is so heavy out there. We just got to laugh a little. We have a question that came in from Francis is, what has performing for different cultures taught you about human connection?
That inherently we're all the same. I think you do learn with different groups. So I could go to a city or a town and I could perform in two different venues on the same day in that city or town, and you will get different responses from different audiences. And it can be the most, so you can't gauge and say, oh, you know, audiences in London are better or audiences in Montreal are better. You just don't know from night to night. Even the same night, two different venues, some people will laugh at things that you didn't even think you had written were funny or you thought were funny, and they're laughing already and you're like, okay, that's good. And others are very, and it's not that your stuff is not funny, it's just that they're very polite theatre-like audiences, so they're trained in a certain way. And sometimes it's as ridiculous as a couple who comes and sits on the front row and they have had an argument before they've walked into the space, and they're still quite in that space of argument, and she may want to laugh and she's looking at him and he's like, no. So, you know, in one of the shows I actually have like a homemade penis that reveals itself. And at that point I was in a town which is still very old school thinking, really, and could see the women were just like ready to laugh, but the men they were sitting with were very alpha males, and you know they're going home with this alpha male, so they're just like very quietly having a little giggle or a little laugh, which I can sense. So what was the question again?
I think you answered it. You know, human connection. Have you ever done a show where the audience was surprised to see how deep and passionate you get into your storytelling? And because comedy is storytelling in a way, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It is. Yeah. You get some one-liner comedians who just do gag. But I think essentially mine has always been storytelling, narrative related, and people tend to follow that. So, yeah, I mean, I think in 2025 there were a few tricky points. So in the UK in August 24, in some cities, probably in most cities in England, there was an upright, like a race riots that turned up. And I hadn't realised how scary that all was, really, because I hadn't really had to think about things like that, I think, until stuff like 2016, when the divisiveness really began. And then in 2025, there were a few incidents where just like greeting people through different greetings, namaste, sasriyakal, assalamu alaikum, and people were straight away scared with assalamu alaikum. And it's like, what, you know, what, and it's what they've been fed and what they've been taught. And so that threw me last year. But this year, if I've got that kind of response, I think I only had it once this year, touch wood. I have gone on to explain that it actually means peace be with you. And that's all it means, you know. Chill out a bit. I'm not telling you to go and take a piss. I'm just saying, you know, peace be with you.
We have a question here for you, Ishi, and is, what lesson has NaanE unexpectedly taught you?
Oh my goodness. She is so last year when she first came out at the Ask Granny shows, she was a little bit rude in the adult shows. And this year, the comedian guests who've come back have just gone, oh my gosh, she is just on a different scale rude now. And they can't believe how rude she is. So I think what NaanE teaches me is to just be bold and silly, and the more bold and silly you are, the more true you are to yourself. And she doesn't hold back. She really does not hold back. She's completely out, out there, out lots of ways. She's made grannies in the audience burp on demand. And that's in a church hall. And what was interesting about that gig was the promoter came in and had a chat with me afterwards, and he said, I don't know what you've done, but that lady was so grumpy when she came, and now she's left happier. I said, oh yeah, Granny just told her to burp.
Sometimes you just need a good burp. Sometimes the gas just needs a pass.
Who knows how many people are holding on to it and looking miserable on the outside? You just never know. Maybe that's the cause of all the wars in the world. If only people just let it go.
Just have a good burp, guys, and the world would be better.
Right?
Ishi, we have another question here from Mac, and what's one message you hope every audience member carries home after Ask Granny?
Okay, connection, unity, love. See the love in everyone. See the love in yourself. Forgive yourself, because from this point on is a fresh start for everybody. That.
Well, I just want to get more into the tea, because the next part of your tea is the truth sprinkling elf of awkward chats.
Yes.
So what's this about the elf, and what's the awkward chats that you're having?
Okay, so I suppose awkward chats are sometimes people come with some worries that they don't really know, how they're going to address those. Like in one of the children's show, for instance, there was a little girl, and she came along and shared her worry with Granny, and her worry was that felt there was monsters in her room. She felt scared by the monsters in her room, and it was a very brave thing for a little girl to do in front of a live audience and share that. So that can be quite an awkward thing in a comedy show to deal with. So at that point, Granny, listens to what she has to say and then gives her advice on that. The elf comes out, I suppose. The elf is a different character. The elf comes out at Christmas time. So sometimes I liken the Ask Granny family shows to Granny is like your alternative Santa, where children just want to come and have a chat with her, and they just want to share things that maybe the parents are not even aware of. One time, a little girl came up and just said she was really nervous about going into year 3. And I don't think the parents were even aware of that. So when she said that in front of a live audience of over 100 people, there was another little girl on the front row who just went, I've been in year 3 and you're going to love it, trust me. That was beautiful. And that could have been a very awkward moment, because not knowing what to deal with and what to say. What other awkward moments are there? I guess, making grannies who come to the show burp in front of, in a live audience. I'm not sure how many shows actually encourage that kind of behavior and just go, who can burp on demand? And then this granny, I can do that. Okay, then do that. Let's see. On demand. Oh goodness. And getting people up to dance and all sorts of things. Yes. I don't know, what would you say is an awkward thing to chat about?
I don't know. Burping is one of the awkward ones, right? Passing gas, or text is coming in, like like you send a spicy text to your mate at a comedy show, and how
Oh,
he would react, right? Like,
oh yes. Okay, so Granny does that in the adult shows. She spices it up for them when they're really shy and held back. So yes, so there was one where the lady brought her mum, and the lady, I would say, is probably in, I don't know because I don't do age, probably 30s, 40s, I don't know. And her mum was there, and she was talking. Granny was talking to her mum to say where is her boyfriend, and does she want Granny's help to find a boyfriend? And sometimes she starts pairing up people in the audience, and, or auctioning them off. Who was this boy? He's a very nice boy, trust me. And he was saying, oh yes, that happened actually just last month, where one of the comedians was a guest on Ask Granny, and this was an adult show, and he told Granny that he was married, but she wasn't having any of it. I think it was because she asked him what he'd been doing all day, and he said he'd been cleaning. So at that point, she decided she was going to auction him off. Girl in the audience. And he was like, but I'm already married. No, it's okay. Who wants this boy? That's what she auctioning him off. So that could have been quite awkward, right?
so Ishi, out of all of the shows you do, which one do you prefer the most? The family shows, the adult shows?
Oh gosh, do you know what? They're all, I can't pick one because they all have beautiful glitter about them in different ways. With the kids shows, it's wonderful because you just see the kids want to be involved, and in a very lovely way they share their worries and leave feeling lighter, and their confidence grows out of that. The number of parents who've said, their child is so shy or on the spectrum and would never have come and spoken in front of a live audience, and then they have, and in that show they have. So that's beautiful in that way. In the adult shows, obviously Granny can really take it to another level, so that's wonderful as well. So I can't actually pick one, if I'm honest, because each one is wonderful in its own ways. Yeah, and then I've got my other stand-up shows as well, and they're all, they all bring a different message, but they're all so much fun to do. So I guess it's like if people had children, although people do say they have a favorite child, don't they? But I
That'd get us all into trouble if we say we have a favorite kid.
don't. I just love them all. I love them all for different reasons. Yeah, for different reasons. They're all wonderful to do. Yeah.
We have a question here from Ariel, and has comedy ever helped you through a difficult season in your own life?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. So absolutely. Okay, so my first show, when I created that and started touring it, was called I Am Happy. And I just booked the final venue for the tour. I came off the phone and I felt really accomplished. I don't have a producer or a production team or a project manager. I did it all pretty much myself. I'm self-taught in so many ways. And the moment I put the phone down, I got an email from my mum saying she'd been diagnosed with a pulmonary fibrosis disease. I didn't know what that was, but I was used to having messages from my mum about this condition or that condition. And over the years, she'd got a bit of a reputation for being a hypochondriac, so people didn't really take her seriously. And as I was on the road, I then looked up what the disease was, and it was terminal. So while I was touring I Am Happy and doing laughter yoga workshops, my mum was actually dying. And it's a strange thing. So she passed away just 9 days before my final show. And I did my final show, and there were a couple of people in the audience who I had told that this had happened. And they came to me afterwards and they said, you know, we couldn't tell, because I was more concerned about the audience and how, you know, we couldn't tell. So I felt, you know, if you believe in God or the universe or a higher power above you, there were times when I thought, oh gosh, you had a right joke on me. I made the show I Am Happy because it was a time when the banking crisis happened, and they were friends of mine in Iceland who were suicidal because they were having to downgrade from a 4x4 SUV to a small car. And I wanted this show to bring happiness, to show them that we didn't really think about things like that growing up in Zambia. It was more about my life story in Zambia. And I thought, you're quite a joker up there, God or the universe, to make me tour a show I Am Happy when all this is going on in my life. But now I look at it in a very different way, to say, actually, that kept me focused on bringing happiness and joy to lots of people, rather than focusing on what was happening in my life and the loss of my mum. Yeah, it did help me through a very difficult time. Thank you for that question. I haven't actually shared that before, so thank you.
You know, and that's what Tea Time is all about, is getting those stories out there, you know, because my listeners see a real person, you know, even behind a humor. And that's a strong person going through a moment like that and still showing up for others. You know, we just never know what someone is going through at that moment. So, you know, kindness goes a long way. And I'm so glad that you shared that on Tea Time with my listeners out there, so they can understand that, you know, you just never know what someone is going through, but they're still showing up for others.
Thank you. Yes, I remember going to a laughter yoga workshop, and I knew that it was actually the one where I told you about the gentleman who'd lost his son in a car accident, his 21-year-old son. And I was driving on the way there. I was in tears thinking of my mum. And then I arrived, and the tears had to be, there we go, we're going to make people laugh today. Get out the car, go and make people laugh. And, you know, you've made a difference to somebody's life. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we have a question here again, is what's one thing that always makes Granny laugh?
One thing, oh gosh. I think she laughed at pretty much everything. She does love, in the adult shows, she does love waving her cucumber about. I'm not sure it makes her laugh, but if she
It tickles.
What makes her laugh a lot is when she takes over the stage and she tells people every night how she's locked Ishi in the toilets. That does make her laugh, because that's the only way she's going to get stage time, is by locking me in the toilets. So yes, that makes her laugh. Yeah. Yeah. I remember, like, my grandma, when I was very little and she was still in Zambia, she stayed with us for maybe a weekend or something. She was sitting on the edge of my mother's bed, and she had just taken her top off, and I was maybe, I don't know, 5, 7, something like that, and I was sitting next to her, and the moment she's taken her top off, I started to look away like this, and she started laughing, and she goes, "What? Are you feeling shy?" Because her boobs were out. Looking at her boobs, and I in a way just like feeling, "Are you really shy?" And she burst out laughing, and I still remember that, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, Granny."
Well, Ishi, I want to get into the last part of your tea. It's culture shape-shifting, dancer between worlds, weaving glitter and courage. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about
Okay,
the dance and glitter and courage.
so the dance, so that started off accidentally when I did my first show, I Am Happy, ends on a Bollywood dance. And listen, dancing's been a passion of mine, but my father forbade it. He said it was due to religion, but I've since found out that my cousins were allowed to dance. So, so I used to very secretly dance. I would go out and plug in to the BBC World Service as a child in Zambia, and then start dancing, you know. And so dance had to form a part of the shows, and in this case, I brought in Bollywood dance. So with Ask Granny, there are different lots of, not just Bollywood dance that you get. Bhangra as well. You might get, like a kids show, you might get and the kids get involved as well. And for the adults, it's celebrate good times, come on. So yeah, so you know, you're always like moving through various forms of dance, bringing the cultures together and creating your own ones as well. And dance is, again, very powerful, like laughter is. It's very healing for the body. It moves, shifts traumas that are held in the body for decades, years, you know, lifetimes. You don't. And it does move between realms, because when you're dancing, so I know a lot of people have to go and have a couple of drinks to dance, but I don't know about you. I don't drink, and I did try drinking when I was at university, and it just started to put me to sleep. So it does the opposite for me. If I try a drink, I get shy and not want to dance. But if I don't have a drink, which I don't drink alcohol, I'm just any type of music. I could be in the supermarket aisle and a song comes on, and I recognize the song from what we've just done in jazz class or ballet, and I'll just start doing it. And it's just wonderful, because in that moment, it's like you're transported. You're not necessarily in this, I don't know, it's weird. You are shape-shifting between different worlds, different realms, and that's my experience today. I don't do drugs, just in case. Well, I don't do drugs. My drug is dance and comedy and, you know, having those kind of experiences. But it's just quite an experience. And you also find this actually in Sufism. So in mystical Sufism, even the spin creates like this trance-like state where you are going into different realms. So that kind of cultural shape-shifting, where one moment you could be a squirrel who's just said hello to me, or a magpie who's just had me dance for them. And then the next moment you're doing a bit of Bollywood or Bhangra dancing, you know what I mean? And all of that, I mean, even to me, it's quite normal to just stop and have a chat with a squirrel or dance with a magpie. But, you know, for other people, I guess it takes courage, you know, to do that. And then wearing glitter is optional, and I can highly recommend going and doing a nose-to-nose kiss with a unicorn and getting. Did any of that make sense?
Well, Ishi, if you had a final message for all the listeners out there tonight, and where can people find you if they'd like to have you as a guest on their podcast or a speaker or anything like that? Where can people find you?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, Ishi2Funny, ISHI and the number 2 funny. I'm also on Facebook as Ishi2Funny. I would say on Instagram, please. You can send me a direct message that way. I did have a website, but sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Who knows? It has its down days. like everybody. There we go. So the best way would be through Instagram, and I usually tend to post where I am as well. So also let me know if you'd like Ask Granny come to your town, your city, your parties. I'm sure Granny would love to do a show for a wedding or a birthday or a bar mitzvah or a funeral.
Celebration of life.
Absolutely. Right. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. She'll probably be going, haha, it's not me in the box. Ah.
You thought I was here, but I'm here. So Ishi, what would your final message be for all the listeners tonight?
Okay, so tonight I would say increase your self-awareness, people. If you find yourself like having a disagreement with a family member or a long-term friend or a neighbor, just check yourselves and see where your information is coming from for that disagreement. And try and bring some harmony within yourselves, because you know what? At the end of the day, we are all one, and that is all there is. So focus on the love. Focus on the love in each other, and let's absolutely exude this love across our planet, across the galaxies, across the universes. Let's exude so much love that Venus up there gets jealous and goes, hey, I want to go and hang out on Earth today. Let's do that. That's my challenge. Can we do that?
Well, thank you so much, Ishi. It was an honor to have you on Tea Time, and for the audience to join and bring in your questions. I really love all the support. Don't forget, Ishi did ask a question, so if we can get that into the questions and the comment section, even after the show, I'd like to see that, and I'd like to see if you guys went and did your homework and all that good stuff. Can you still hear me, Ishi?
Yes, I can. Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Miss Liz.
Well, I'm just going to do a quick recap of what tonight, this afternoon's tea time is, and I'll join everybody tonight at 7 p.m. And I really just enjoyed this conversation and having you as a guest, because, you know, we need a little bit more laughter at the table, and spill a good tea. Like it was amazing. What a wonderful way to spend our tea time together. Ishi, thank you for bringing your humor, warmth, creativity, and joyful spirit to the tea time table. You reminded us that laughter is far more than entertainment. It is connection, resilience, perspective, and sometimes exactly what our hearts need. Today, we explored comedy, storytelling, culture, everyday life, and the incredible gift of finding light even during difficult times. One of the strongest takeaways from today's conversation is this: never underestimate the power of making someone smile. A simple moment of laughter can ease anxiety, lift heavy hearts, create connection, and remind us that we are never as alone as we sometimes feel. You Ask Granny character reminds us that wisdom doesn't always arrive in serious conversations. Sometimes it comes with laughter, a clever observation, and a reminder not to take life quite so seriously. As we close today's tea time, I leave everyone with this thought. When was the last time you laughed so hard that you forget about your worries, even if you only for a moment? Because joy is not a distraction from life. Joy is one of the ways we survive it. Thank you, Ishi, for sharing your gift of laughter, creativity, and your heart with the Tea Time community. Until next time, keep laughing, keep spreading kindness, and keep serving real life tea, one conversation at a time. Today's takeaway is laughter may not solve every problem, but it gives us the strength, hope, and perspective to face them with a lighter heart. And I'll see everybody at 7 p.m. and we'll do this all over again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun. I'm just going to leave you with a laugh.